is the Vintage RPG Podcast, your source for the best in classic and contemporary RPGs. With your hosts, Hambone and Stu.
Welcome to the Vintage RPG Podcast, coming at you again from the clubhouse hidden somewhere in the swamps of New Jersey. I'm John Hambone McGuire, and with me, as always, is the founder and publisher of Unwinnable. He finally found something else cool that came from Akron, Stu Horvath.
Don't disparage the folks from Akron, because I'm going to ask them for help.
Easy there, Tiger. First off, I would never disparage the folks from Akron. Ohio is a wonderful place. All of it. I've been to several different parts of it, including Akron, and I had a real good time there. But you know, normally Akron is known for Devo.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I totally forgot about that.
And it was the home of Chrissie Hynde of the Pretenders before she kicked rocks over to England.
Huh.
Ha, take that, Akron. I know your history. Ha ha.
And also, John Brown lived there. We love John Brown on this podcast.
Oh, hell yeah. See? All cool stuff from Akron.
So, yeah. So I want to talk about today a game shop in Akron called Spellbinders. And, okay, so I found out about Spellbinders. We've already talked about a Spellbinders product. Like a lot of game shops, well, not a lot, but a couple notable game shops in the 70s and 80s, Spellbinders created their own RPG products. So like Little Soldiers is probably the most famous one because the first monster book came out through Little Soldiers. And we've talked about that Book of Monsters. They eventually became Phoenix Games or Tier Games, which also wound up making Aftermath and got bought by Fantasy Games Unlimited. And the other one that I can think of off the top of my head is The Complete Strategist in New York, which Bard Games made The Complete Alchemist, Spellcaster, and Adventurer for sale in their store, at least initially. So the idea of a game shop of the period producing their own modules seems a little odd to us today, but it wasn't incredibly out of the ordinary at the time. We've already talked about one of their products on the podcast, The Future King, which was a module, a weird epilogue to Tom Moldvay's Lords of Creation line. The other product that Spellbinders Games made is called Castle Thrax from 1985. It took a little doing to get a hold of this. And to my knowledge, that is it. They produced these two modules and nothing else, which is sad. I'll talk about Castle Thrax first. It is, oh man, it just looks so good. It just has that look, that vibe of the early days. 85 is still, that's 11 years after the hobby started. It has sort of a Judges Guild look to it.
That's cool.
Yeah, in that, like, it's pretty good art, and then it's got color, just a single monochrome color. It's red with highlights here and there, and the cover art. It's much better paper stock than a Judges Guild product, and there's a lot of good art. One of the reasons why I was so keen to get it is because it has art by Dave Billman, who did a lot of the art for Lords of Creation and Future King. I really love his art. He's got like sort of like a style that I feel like is rooted in like serial like the Flash Gordon or a Prince Valiant, like something about the way his line weight and the way his faces look has just like a really appealing kind of old school newspaper comic feel, but then is also like super weird. Like the monster manual for the monster booklet in Lords of Creation is just like deeply unhinged, and
I love it.
There's not a whole lot of unhingedness in the art here, but I just like his art to the point where like having a little bit more of it makes me happy.
It's always good when the art's a vibe, man.
Yeah.
And that Prince Valiant style, like that, I know exactly. It's like so visual in my head. Like I know exactly what you're talking about, even if it's not like officially Prince Valiant, but that style, oh, I love that. Especially when you look at old, like say horror comics and romance comics from back in the day, they had that same kind of feel and vibe to them.
I have to look at it for a long time to figure out exactly, but it does have a distinct kind of look. And I think it's the quality of the line work. But I'm not 100% sure because like Gary here, I'm going to call him Gianni, but it's probably Gianni.
I've
So
heard it
either,
both ways.
yeah, take whichever one, pick your own pronunciation. Who did Monster Men? He is actually, I believe, the current artist for Prince Valiant, and like he does that thing. He does that thing, and it's really gorgeous that there's still an artist out there who does that thing. But it's a hard thing for me to like describe other than just being like, it looks like Prince Valiant. The module itself, Castle Thrax, is it's funny. I'm going to read you part of the back cover copy,
Please.
which is like, tired of doing all the work for the group you adventure with? Now you can play too. So it's like aimed directly at game masters. Castle Thrax does the work for you. A revolutionary concept in fantasy role-playing modules is designed to be played without a dungeon master. No referee of any kind. One person is assigned to simply read the descriptions and instructions from this unique adventure packet. No dungeon mastering experience is necessary. So it's sort of like, is it a solo? Is it like just that easy to run that you can play along? I love the fact that it says that it's like a revolutionary concept, but when you look through it, it is set up like a Tunnels and Trolls solo adventure.
Got it. Yeah.
So it's a lettered spreads. So like the first page is 2 pages of A, and then you have numbers, and then B, and then numbers, and then so you get to the end of a paragraph, and it says turn to, do you say hello? Go to K30, charge an attack E20, cast a spell typo 11 or 10. Could be. Throw a missile weapon, E20, or run away in fear, L50. I think I'm going to run away in fear. Let's see what happens.
Let's see.
L50. You run out into the open air. Although you have gained no experience, you have the satisfaction of being alive to fight another day. The end. There you go. We finished it. Good job.
That was a quick game. Love it.
Yeah. But so, revolutionary in that it's lifting the Tunnels and Trolls solo game format. I have not played it yet. I don't really have much interest in actually playing it. As much as the art is nice, the typesetting is very much typed on a typewriter, which is charming to look at when you're flipping through it, but hard on the eyes when you're trying to play.
Yeah. Sure is no serif.
As an object, it not a huge impact on games. And I don't think that anything about Future King really was much of a big impact. But I do love the fact that the inside cover is printed with stock lists from the store, and you can mail order even.
Oh, it's awesome.
I have not been able to confirm or deny the continuing existence of Spellbinders in Akron. They are certainly not at 327 Zeller Ave anymore. I have turned up a couple other addresses, but I can't tell if there's actually a storefront or if it's just somebody, who has stock, who used to own the company selling mail order, or what the deal is. And none of those things seem particularly established. Like there's a Facebook page that's on like a 3000 something street. I can't find out much about Spellbinders, but I'd like to know more.
Oh, yeah.
I'd like to know if they're still open. I'd like to know if they are still connected to the original Spellbinders in some way, or if it's new owners or what the story is. So if you're in Akron or if you frequent Spellbinders, let me know. I'd also like to know. So it's cool. I love a catalog. So there's sort of a section for fantasy role-playing games, which is Dungeons and Dragons stuff. They have the Complete Alchemist in their stock list, which is kind of interesting.
Very cool.
They have some Rollmaster stuff. There's some stuff that I don't know what it is, which someday I will try and track down. Like, what is Cards of Power? I'm interested. There's a book called Contemporary Weapons. Okay, by who? It doesn't really say. It was listed for $4.95. There's exotic weapons. Then there's a bunch of other games like Aftermath, Bushido, Call of Cthulhu, Elric, Necromancer game. Oh, that's the metagame. No, that might be a Steve Jackson game. Anyway, Stalking the Night, fantastic. Tune, Valley of the Pharaohs, which I think is Fantasy Games Unlimited, Villains and Vigilantes. There's a section called Everything for Car Wars, which sort of indicates how popular Car Wars was at the time.
Nice.
There's some adventures listed from a variety of publishers for a variety of systems. Like, again, there's names here that I don't recognize.
I love it.
They're like Towers of Ilium for Lords of Creation. I don't think that was ever produced. There's something called Your Paladin Has Been Stolen! By Druids! Oh, what the heck is that?
You know what it is? I'll tell you. First off, sidebar, Spellbinders, great name for a store. Castle Thrax, great name for a castle.
Yep.
I think what we're seeing here, and again, this is me spitballing this, but I think what we're seeing here is like, pre-internet, you're ordering shit from like a catalog, or in this case, a badass, like the most badass way to do it. You get to the end of the game, you're like, man, I wonder what else is out there. That's your Google, the back page of the game. They're trying to cut out something, you got to mail it in.
Yeah.
And I'm like, these are like indie publishers. Maybe they're local guys from Akron that like, hey, this is my local shop. I wrote something, and they're like, yeah, man, we'll put it in the mailer. And we may never know unless people from Akron actually like come out and be like, hey guys, I know it. That was Carl. He wrote the game about like your cleric got kidnapped by druids.
That's what I want to know.
I know. And I think that's the coolest thing in the world because like, now, I mean, you're watching a movie, you're on IMDb, you play a game, you're like, I wonder what else this guy did. I'm reading John Dies at the End. I'm like, how many other books are in the series? Because Hambone reads now. And like, there's something I always will say, like finding a character sheet in a used book that you buy. There's something magical about the unknown.
Yep. There's some funny stuff in the list. So like they have a bunch of regular games too. So like they have Backgammon, Circus Maximus, which is a racing game, I believe.
That's fun.
Mahjong. So a lot of like standard games. They have books about games like How to Improve Your Bridge, and Winning at Gin for $3.
Listen, man, you got to sell everything. I mean, like, listen, we have Rolaids, but also Mahjong.
They have a listing for dice. They have a mystical section. You can get tarot decks and I Ching coins and books on palm reading.
Awesome. That's what a game store should sell.
They also have some jewelry. So like Lucite Magician's Wand, Men's Dagger Pendant, silver coins, unicorn earrings. There's something called Flash. This one, it's 4 items: Flash Cotton, Flash Fire Writing, Flash String, Flash Pad. I don't know what all that is. I imagine it's something that sets fire. Maybe for like, I don't know. But it does say that parent signatures required of minors.
Oh yeah. That is the stuff right there. I mean, dude, like if I go to a game store, right, I'm not going to buy like a Dungeons and Dragons book. I love buying stuff. I'll probably end up buying a set of dice, but like if there's like a men's dagger pendant or if there's like flash paper or like weird crystals, your boy's spending money.
I mean, it's great. It's such a window into the past because like I feel like this is just stuff that would not fly now. I mean, and retail's so much different now. Like and it's all distroed to heck, Everybody sort of has the same stuff.
Which is awesome in a way because there are so many cool independent artists out there that now get to be seen other places.
Yeah. But the things that most intrigue me are there's a whole central column dedicated to these publications, and I don't think that any of them actually exist. I think that these were things that they wanted to produce and for one reason or another did not. I am extremely interested in finding out if they were produced, if they weren't produced, how much of them were produced, if I could see them. Like if Spellbinders is still in, like my hope, like the perfect storm would be that Spellbinders exists in some way and is still, has boxes and boxes of stuff like the Complete Strategist in New York. And like they have the manuscripts for these somewhere. They just never printed them. And if that's the case, I would love to see them.
Yeah.
So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. One is the Swashbuckler, which is a new class. There's a dictionary for the Thieves' Cant. There's the Mixture Manual, a bartender's guide, over 30 recipes for role-playing games. cute novelty item for gamers who enjoy potables. I would love to see that. Spells with a twist, some bizarre, so 26 original spells, and a who's who in Gordain. Flesh out your adventure with three-dimensional friends and foes, an NPC book. And then the one I find most interesting is another class book called dedicated to the Necromancer.
Oh.
The Necromancer is an interesting thing in terms of Dungeons and Dragons. It was, along with I believe the Alchemist was the first one, and the Witch. All three of them are sort of like the classes people always really wanted to have in the game, because there's a lot of them there's a lot of instances of these being made by third-party people or zined in like the AMAs. And this is one of the first times I've seen a Necromancer book listed for publication. It probably was, like I said, it probably was not actually published. The Necromancer in particular intrigues me because there were a lot of them on the internet when we were playing second edition, like my second Planescape campaign, so like late 90s, and there was just a lot of options for Necromancers. It was easily the most supported thing that we found in terms of like just like stuff that people were publishing on the internet. And it's cool. It's cool to see something going back as far as at least as 1985. I think that there was a Necromancer in Dragon magazine earlier than that, but like the original Alchemist that was published in Dragon magazine, it wasn't really workable as a class, and it never really has been. Even there's a complete Necromancers book for second edition that also like puts this thing out there that just it's not very workable. But it interests me that people have tried repeatedly to sort of solve this riddle of the Alchemist, the Witch, and the Necromancer. So if that does exist, I'd like to see it. I'd like to see all of it. So that's basically the end. And my final thought is, if you know anything about any of this, get in touch, because I want to know more.
The Alchemist, the Witch, and the Necromancer is a perfect title for a book.
It's like the C.S. Lewis book that like would have been good.
Oh man, we're gonna take some heat in the comments for that. Oh boy. Do you have any final thoughts, Stu?
That's it. If you know anything, if you're from Akron, if you have a history with the Spellbinders store, or know anything about Spellbinders products, their existence or otherwise, let me know. Get in touch. There's plenty of ways to contact me on the internet.
Very cool. So before we go home on this episode, Handphone's Crowdfunding Corner is back again. I got a few things to thrill you with today. First off, from our friends over at Kablooey Fine Nerdery is a third-party supplement for Neon Lords of the Toxic Wasteland called Can You Dig It? It's 1980s Grebo mayhem crashes headfirst into the end of the millennium psychosis, late 90s splat book for the Neon Lords of the Toxic Wasteland, subculture swagger, dance floor decay, radioactive attitude. It is coming to backer kit probably by the time this episode airs, so definitely check that out. Can You Dig It by Kablooey Fine Nerdery. My buddy over at Owl Knight Publishing, who boy, dropped Seekers of the Other Worlds, a third level multiverse campaign for Dungeon Crawl Classics. It's by Thorin Thompson, one of the hunkiest boys in RPG today, a true talent. Great concepts, great execution with everything Thorin does. And this is a third level campaign adventure for Dungeon Crawl Classics RPG, the Multiverse Sweeping Escapade. It's a standalone sequel adventure that can be used to conclude the story arc, which began with the 0-level adventure Sky of Crimson Flame, or to be used to begin an entirely new adventure arc. It's a box set. It's fully funded, and it looks sweet as hell. The background art on it that he used to host the picture of the box set. It's the Black Lodge from Twin Peaks, which is pretty cool. So it's up, it's rocking right now. Probably about a week and a half left when this episode airs. So check that out. We also have, for my friend Justin Sorois over at Sever Books, a brand new party game called Vampire Farts. It's a cutthroat press your luck card game about farting vampires. I know. And like, I sat there with him at Page, and he was like spitballing ideas. We were spitballing ideas back and forth, but it's a pretty funny concept because it's a fast press your luck game. You're a vampire. You have to eat a well-rounded meal to fart the most succulent fart imaginable. You'll be feasting on different people of varying taste, which are number values. At the end of each round, the vampire with the highest value meal wins. That is, if you don't ruin your night by feeding on the same type of human twice. So we're shooting the breeze, and like we're going back and forth. So like, say for example, an influencer is 12 points. She takes 100 photos of herself with food, herself and her dogs, herself with anything she could find a day. But then like an unhealthy meal would be a nightclub owner. 2 decades of chemicals and booze doesn't make a succulent body. Alas, one must eat, And you might bite someone who ate garlic or something like that, put you out of the game. But it's pretty fun. We sat there for a couple hours going over it, and I'm really excited about this. I love party games because it's the lowest barrier of entry to any kind of gameplay, just in the same way Werewolf is in games like that. But Vampire Farts, it is launching in about 30 days from the time this episode airs. So check that out. I'll mention it again when it goes live. So that was me for my crowdfunding corner for the week. Stu, where can people find you on the internet?
They can find me at vintagerpg.com. Castle Thrax is scheduled for the 2027 production of posts. So you get to wait at least 6 months before you'll see a picture of it on the site. So sorry about that, but at least you know it's coming.
Hey, listen, you know what? There are movies out there that don't put a trailer out far enough in advance for people to really be able to care about it and get excited about it. So like, I think it is more than fine that you are going and you're telling people about posts that are going to come out next year far in advance so they can get excited. They may forget about it, but when they come back, they're going to be like, oh, damn, that's the thing. You can find me across the internet, John McGuire RPG on Twitter and on Blue Sky. I've been posting more stuff. I've been going more places. And if you want to pick up any of my totally sweet books, you can go to hamandeggpublishing.com. It takes you right to my Etsy. I just got in stock an updated Crowdfund Your Fucking Life. It's 2nd edition. It's expanded. It's been streamlined in some ways. I got some art in there, some more links, some new cool columns in there, and I am setting up the runway for an issue 2. I've been writing that as well. And it's going to become more of a magazine format, which in zine form as it grows and as it gets bigger. Crowdfund Your Fucking Life, 2nd edition at hamandeggpublishing.com right now. Before I tell you about the Patreon, we're coming up. How many years ago was 2018, Stu?
That would be 8.
All right, we're coming up on 8 years of doing this show. I thought it was 9. I'm really bad at math, and that's why I asked Stu. So we're coming up on 8 years doing this show. So we've had a Patreon for about 6 now. For as little as $1 a month, you get early release episodes, sometime between Friday and Sunday, depending on when we record them. We also have a absolutely killer Discord community, which truly is an oasis from the rest of the world, and some other cool things going on there as well. Patreon.com/vintagerpg. So for Stu Horvath, I'm John Hambone McGuire. May the dice always roll in your favor. Thanks for listening. The Vintage RPG Podcast is a ham-fisted production. Music by Dead Go West. Art by Schaefer Brown. Edited by R. Alex Murray. Check us out at vintagerpg.com.